Alrighty, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here on Wlbt Plus First Alert Weather Edition. I'm going to dive over all the details of what you need to know in regards to the First Alert Weather Day for Friday and into Saturday. So again, we have a lot to talk about, a lot to get through. If you have any questions, please go ahead and ask them on Facebook. I will gladly get to them as we go along. But again, we're looking at a pretty serious situation for the day on Saturday. So let's talk about that. So let's talk about what you need to know and what we can expect. And I hope this is a little bit more of a casual environment to where you can ask the questions. I'll dive into some of the details, some of my own opinions. And again, right now it looks nice. So we don't really have to worry about much for Thursday. It's actually going to be a relatively quiet Thursday for you. So again, not too much to worry about for your day today. Friday and Saturday, though, severe storms are going to be likely, more so into the day on Saturday. So let's talk about that. You can really expect very quiet conditions in the forecast for your day today. This is one model's opinion. So I want you to be aware that this is just a different model run. So one model run's opinion will be different than the others. They use different data, different input. So I'll voice my opinion on the situation, and then we'll talk about this model run. So this is what you can expect into Friday morning, isolated rain chances possible. Again, I want you to look at Friday as the sense of these little green dots. You're like, Chase, they might not look like much. What are you telling me that there's going to be severe weather for? When you see these little green dots could easily become very strong supercells. So I want you to be aware of that, especially into the afternoon, evening, and overnight into Friday and Saturday. Now, Saturday rolls around. You wake up on Saturday morning. It starts around 6 to 7 in the morning, and we're actually going to be looking at some strong thunderstorms. However, I think the worst of it is more so into the afternoon and evening. So let's take a look at that. I want you to be aware of this. I'm actually going to pull this up to make it bigger to show you. So you see those little kidney bean cells, the cells that kind of just are bent, kind of weird, where you're like, why is that bending that way? Those are supercells. So that's what we look at whenever we're talking about severe storms to roll into the area. Whenever we look at long track tornadoes, we look at those kidney bean like cells. So again, I wish I could draw on this for you to circle. I might be able to. So hold on a second. Let me actually try this to show you exactly what I'm kind of looking at. I have a pointer. Does that work? Do you see that? No, you don't. Again, we are really going to be focusing on the threat of severe weather into the day on Saturday. I think that's really the biggest day of concern for us here. It's been a while. That's a great question. Is it going to be like, I'll actually pull this up so that y'all can see it. Ricardo asks, is it going to be like the outbreaks of 2011 or 2014? So in the meteorology world, we really try our best to not compare the setups or not compare past events to the current ones because every system is different. That's true. That's the one thing I kind of love about meteorology is every single day is different. You're never going to get the same or the exact same setup. I will say it's similar setups to those outbreaks, but again, we're really looking at a very strong hatched risk over central Mississippi, which means that you will be seeing very strong storms. And we'll go over that in a second. I'll get to all the details of that. But again, it moves out into eastern Mississippi and western Alabama by around 4 or 5 o'clock, which is a good thing for us here at home. However, a lot of that daytime heating off to the east will cause those storms to be a little bit stronger, even a little bit more severe. So that's really what we're going to be focusing on into Saturday afternoon and evening. So have friends or family over in Meridian, have friends or family in Birmingham, Montgomery, off into Mobile, further off to the south in Biloxi, give them a call. Please give them a heads up that this system is making its way into their area. So here's a look at Friday's severe weather risk zone. Severe weather for Friday. So again, we talked about that just now, like those little isolated green dots. Why would there be little green dots in that enhanced risk? A level 3 out of 5, that seems pretty high. And you would be right and asking both of those questions, to be honest with you. So those little green dots, those cells that can develop, the environment is very, very strong or allows the storms to really get going. So there's a lot of juice in the atmosphere is really the best way to put it. So if these storms can tap into that, break through the cap in the atmosphere, we could easily see some very strong thunderstorms into the night on Friday. So I'll get to this question right here. Is there a chance it could be upgraded? Is there anything that could cause this system to fall apart Saturday? Yes, there is. There's a good chance for both of those things. So that's something that we need to be mindful of. Here's a look at Saturday, actually. So this is the severe weather risk zone for Saturday, a level 4 out of 5 moderate risk. And actually, I'm going to get into this graphic so that you can see the exact risk zone. Actually, I might need to go down a little bit more. So this is for Saturday. And again, let me pull this up for you. Okay, there we go. This is day 3. We're going to break it down by not just the Storm Projection Center, but actually into this area. So give me just 1 second. I'm actually pulling this up for you so that I can give you an updated look. I'll answer this question while I get to this. Will it be really bad tomorrow night around the Prentice or Monticello area? I'm actually going to cover this, but you live in a trailer, hate to be running in the middle of the night. So I want you to be aware that that storm system Friday night and into Saturday is going to be very isolated. So I can't tell you exactly where we're going to see these things pop up, but I want you to be aware that we could easily see some strong to severe storms. This is the perfect graphic for this, actually. So let me pull this up. I'm going to kind of tear this apart for you and show you really what we look at as meteorologists. So this level 3 or level 4 out of 5 moderate risk, we haven't really seen that too often. So let me break it down for you day by day. So this is the day 3 outlook. Again, I'm going to pull up the SPC outlooks for you here. Give me a second. Day 3, day 4. Okay. So this is the SPC outlook for, ignore the level 4 out of 5. So this is for day 3. If it'll pull up. Might take a minute to load. Either way, we'll get to that here. There we go. So this is what we look at with day 3. So I'm actually going to break it down for you. We're not going to look at this is the significant probability, the probability here that we'll see damaging winds. And again, this is a 45% hatched risk zone. That means that the tornadoes that we could see are going to be strong. So that area of purple, I want you to be aware that we usually don't show this often, because you might be wondering, why is it a hatched risk? What does that even mean? What exactly does that entail for me? Well, a hatched risk zone means that we're going to be talking about a higher likelihood of seeing stronger tornadoes if we see any at all. So the tornadoes that develop into the day on Saturday are more than likely going to be strong tornadoes. So I want you to be aware that means EF2 or higher rated tornadoes. So again, here's a look at the tornado probability. And I was hoping I could answer that question. Will it be bad tomorrow night? Yes, it could be possibly bad into Friday night. It's going to be very much isolated, though, so I can't tell you if it's going to be in the Prentice or Monticello area. It's just going to be pop-up storms that develop. So I want you to be aware of that. And I'm going to stop this real quick so that we can see. So here's a look at the tornado energy into the early morning hours of Friday and Saturday. So this is overnight. And again, it ramps up even more into the day on Saturday. So any time frames for Laurel. So again, we'll be talking about the time frame being for Saturday. It's actually going to be more so 6 a.m. for the further west of I-55 that you go. So 6 a.m. to about the, I'd say, 5 o'clock time frame. So 5 p.m. for Eastern Mississippi. For us here in the Jackson Metro, maybe around 2 or 3 in the afternoon or evening. So this is CAPE. This is the storm energy that we look at within the atmosphere. I have a hair on my nose. I'm sorry, everyone, for it. I promise you, I'm not picking my nose, but I just have a hair on it. But as we get going into Friday, this is what we're kind of looking at. So Friday afternoon, the lower end of the storm energy is available for us. I don't know why it just went all the way down there. But the higher end of the storm energy is actually going to be for us here in central Mississippi. Let me get back to this. I don't know why it just went down to the bottom. That's kind of weird. Either way, we're looking at, let me see this. I hope nothing happens. And to answer that question, weather makes me nervous too. I understand. A lot of people have storm anxiety. That's pretty common, especially here in the South. I personally have seen storms tear through towns, and I'm really hopeful that nothing happens. I really, really hope that nothing happens at all in any way, shape, or form into Friday or Saturday. But of course, I need you to be prepared if it does. My thing that I always say, Anisha, is be prepared, not scared. You want to know what's going on. You want to know the worst case scenario so that just in case that happens, you're able to prepare properly and you are prepared properly. So that's why I'm here. I'm here to make sure that you're safe, that you're informed, and that you know what's going on into the day on Saturday. So look at how much storm energy is left with us into the overnight hours. There's plenty of energy for these storms to tap into Friday night and into the day on Saturday. Look at that uptick Saturday morning. This is Saturday morning into the afternoon hours as it rolls through. That moved through pretty quick. So here I'll show you again. Again, look at that. That storm energy is there. Once that line passes through, though, we are in the clear. So here's what you need to know. Just a rough overview as you get going into Friday and Saturday. Here's kind of a breakdown for you. Saturday severe weather threat is more of that medium look. So we don't have to worry about widespread threats, but still looking at isolated storms that can fire up, that can cause a lot of damage. So just make sure you have ways of staying updated into Friday. Saturday, we're on that higher end of the severe threat for us here in central Mississippi. So make sure that you are going to be staying weather aware. And again, we talked about, I believe it was Kathy, you live in the trailer. You want to know where to go for severe storms. And if a warning is issued in your area, again, we talked about being prepared. So I want you to be prepared for the day on Saturday, for Friday as well. So a warning is issued. Where do you go? What do? You want to make sure you have your plan set in place. A basement or storm shelter is really the safest, but honestly, people here in the South, we don't have basements. We have storm shelters available, and there are local storm shelters. So you can always Google that and find where your closest storm shelter is if you do live in a trailer. If you have a friend or family that does have a well-built home, you want to try to go to them ahead of the storm. So that's why I'm giving you this heads up. We're still multiple days away from Saturday. It's Thursday, people, and we're all the models are this much in agreement that we're going to see strong weather. So make sure you know where to go. In an interior room or hallway is usually the best place to go. You want to try to stay away from windows if best as you possibly can. Please just try to stay safe into the day on Friday and Saturday. So I'm going to read this real quick. So basically in this environment, isolated cells are more serious than a big light. Yes, because those isolated cells, and here I'll even pull this up. I'm fine staying here as long as I need to answer these questions. I want to make sure that I answer all the questions that I possibly can now, so that I can get to them as fast as possible. So the isolated storms that are going to be popping up are just in that perfect environment to where we'll be able to see almost those isolated cell-like storms really develop ahead of that line. So that line will still be off to the west, but those cells that develop ahead of it are easily going to be able to produce long track tornadoes, very damaging tornadoes, and strong and damaging winds. So make sure that you have ways to stay updated. It's not going to be necessarily widespread where we're going to be talking about the just rain along that main line of storms. But let me see. This model actually did a pretty good job at showing you the isolated cells. So yes, it's a linear structure of a line, but that frontal boundary is off to our west. So again, we're going to be really focusing on the threat of large hail, damaging winds, and tornadoes. The winds could get up to 60 to 70 miles an hour. And I'll fast forward here. This is a look at Saturday. So you see these cells that are popping up, the kidney bean light cells. There's a good one down here further off to the south. I wish I could point it out to you, near Tylertown right now. Again, we haven't seen a moderate risk here, a day 3 moderate risk with a 45% hatched in quite some time. It's a very strong setup for very much allows these storms to get going. And again, I just really want to make sure everyone's safe and informed. That's my goal here, is to make sure you're prepared for this system as we get going into Saturday. I'm going to stop right now. If you have any questions, please ask them. Please ask them away. Again, I'm going to be reading this chat throughout the rest of the morning. Even whenever I'm off, I'm going to make sure that you have the most up-to-date details. If you have any questions about where we'll see these stronger storms, will it be impactful to you? I hope I answer them now, but again, if I didn't, if I missed anything, please do not hesitate to ask. I really want you to be safe going into Friday and Saturday. Now, again, just a rough summary. Friday, isolated storms. Some of the storms that break through the cap can be fairly strong. So I want you to be aware of that, mainly Friday afternoon into the evening and overnight. So turn your weather guards up Friday morning. You want to make sure you know what is going on Friday morning and continue to keep track of the weather into Saturday afternoon. Saturday, is the day that we should be the most concerned about. But don't just wipe Friday underneath the rug, people. We need to keep a very close eye on Saturday to make sure we have an updated look on what exactly is going to be going on, because we know that strong storms are more than likely for us here in the area. And again, it's looking like a dangerous situation. So I want to make sure you know what's going on, you're prepared, and that we can all get out of this together. So I'm going to answer this one last question. Bonnie is asking, any chance of it downtrending? So it's looking unlikely that we'll see it trending downward, because all the models have progressively been in agreement that we're seeing a higher likelihood of severe weather into Saturday. So I hate to tell you this, but it's looking like that we'll either stay around that moderate or continue to see it increase. Just make sure you know what is going on the day of Saturday. So please make sure you have multiple ways to stay updated. I don't care if it's another station, another app, another radio, anything. I don't care. Just have another way of staying updated. Have multiple ways to get your information into either your hands, your ear, it doesn't matter. Just please have ways to stay updated Saturday and Friday. I want to make sure that everyone is going to be safe and sound once we get through this storm system. The good news is once we get through Saturday night, we look good. So we really don't have to worry about much. So please make sure you have multiple ways of staying updated. If you have any questions, I'll try my best to get to them. And this is a perfect way of putting it. So Mary has honestly a great way to kind of put it. So that level 3 for Friday, level 4 for Saturday, the ingredients are there. So if the discrete sales pop up, if they do, the energy is there to create very strong long track tornadoes. That's true, especially for Saturday. If the cells do pop up, we could easily see that happen. And same thing for Friday, it's just on that lower end, more so for areas north of I-20. So again, if you have any questions, please ask them to me at any time. That's all I got for you right now. Please have a great rest of your day today. I'll be back tomorrow morning, Friday morning. Make sure you tune in at this time Friday morning. Please come back tomorrow, and I'll be able to give you another updated look at what exactly we're going to be looking at into Friday. But that's all I got for you now. Stay safe. Go outside. Do your plans now. If you have any dead trees that you need to get rid of or take them down now, do that now, because we're going to be expecting very strong and gusty winds into the day on Friday and Saturday. We'll have more details on this throughout the rest of the day for you, and I'll be back again tomorrow at 7 a.m. Have a great rest of your day, and please be safe.